Hello everyone, my name is Daniel Backer and welcome to Off the Wall Novels. Pringle here, my co-host, is probably going to poop on my sweater. I did not finish any books in 2022. I did read quite a bit. I got 225 pages into Mason and Dixon by Thomas Pynchon. Absolutely loved it, but my grad school program for teaching at NYU picked up and I got very busy, had to abandon it. I started V again by Thomas Pynchon. Everything that I thought I got out of it when reading it like 8 years ago just turned out to be the tip of the iceberg. Rereading Pynchon is always a rewarding experience, but in this case, I don't really feel like I got it at all the first time that I read it based on the quality of this second read. I'm only like 100 pages into it this time around, and I don't think I appreciated how much of like a nihilistic 50s, 60s romp it was. I'd say 60s, but I don't think it came out in the 60s. I think it was in the 50s. But it's very much capturing the like bohemian nihilism that I imagine Pynchon himself went through. And I was a lot more intrigued by a lot of the historical aspects of it the first read through. And frankly, I just don't think I was experienced enough as a reader to really grasp all of the details he was putting in about his contemporary time. So I'm absolutely loving it. I feel like I'm sinking my teeth a little bit deeper into the themes, whereas a lot of times the first read-through of a Pynchon novel is just like kind of letting it wash over you, trying to figure out what he's doing, letting a lot of stuff not really land. That's become more minimal on this read-through. There are still some things I don't completely understand. All of Stencil's impersonations, I was able to piece them together a little bit more and realize that they were about this duel between Bongo Shaftesbury and Porpentine, but all of that is to say, I'm still not exactly sure what that has to do with the rest of the book. I'm excited to learn more. But 2022 was probably the best year of my life. It was when I discovered that teaching should be my profession and not creativity. I'm still going pretty hard on the creative front, but I have gotten so much joy and satisfaction out of teaching. It's made me recontextualize my creative endeavors as more of a respite for myself, kind of like a spiritual altar that I can go to, Pringle that hurt. And it's more of a personal endeavor that I'm still working just as hard on, but recontextualizing it as that and not beating myself over, not making money on it has actually been extremely beneficial to me. And I would love to make money on it at some point, but pursuing it, I think, really clouded my intentions a lot in my creativity. So I am eager to tell people a little bit more about the next project that I'm going to be working on. I've already mentioned it. You can check out my last video. The Kingdom of Liminal Space is the working title for this next novel and album that are going to be thematically related. And I'll probably change the title so that it's not as connected to the internet aesthetic of liminal spaces, but that's very much a diving board for this project. I realized as a suburbanite that I've always been a little ashamed of that and kind of gravitated toward more urban aesthetics, but that's authentically who I am as a suburbanite. And so the liminal space aesthetic, I think, really opened my eyes to the idea of these old, abandoned corporate consumer spaces that felt very familiar to me as someone who grew up in the suburbs of Missouri. And it gave me a ton of ideas for a lot of the different shifts that I've made in my life, because a lot of that project too is going to explore sort of these like capitalist imperatives to turn your artwork into a monetary pursuit, and how letting go of that can actually be amazing for your art and for your soul. So that's probably as much as I'm going to say about it right now. Another big thing I did in 2022 is I released an EP that I was working on for a very, very long time. Some of the songs on that EP I literally started writing in 2018, and it took forever to get them out the door, but I'm very proud of it. It's the best music release I've ever made. It's here on YouTube. It's also on Spotify under Danny Backer everywhere. It was really my intention with this EP to make every single song sound completely different from the one that came before it. I love it when albums do that, or when artists do that in general. Ariel Pink, Elvis Costello, Ween, those are big influences here. So please check out the EP if you haven't heard it yet. I'm very proud of it and very excited to up the ante on my next album too, for Kingdom of Liminal Space, or whatever it ends up being called. Last major video essay that I did here on this channel was the Age of Innocence video. Please go and check it out if you have any interest. It doesn't give any spoilers away. So if you haven't checked it out yet, I worked really hard on it, and I got to integrate a bunch of actual locations from the novel that are here in New York City. Beyond that, I have not really been posting here as much, mostly due to the short-term gratification of TikTok. I've been posting a lot on TikTok and have had some videos do extremely well over there and get some interactions with some very big creators. And even though it's not quite as satisfying as the content that I make on YouTube, I think it's kind of hard to turn away from as somebody who has put so much effort into doing creative work and putting content out on the internet. To have some videos get many thousands of views, some hundreds of thousands, haven't quite broke 1 million views yet on any one video, but it's very cool to have an idea that I think of that I want to share with the world, and then to have like a football stadium size worth of people see it and engage with it. Very gratifying. But that being said, in 2023, one of my resolutions is to put a little bit more effort into my YouTube channel, because like I was saying, as cool as TikTok is and as big as the promise of a large audience is, there's something more ephemeral about the short form content, and something that just isn't as satisfying as the sort of deeper dives. And recently on TikTok, I've actually posted some more video essay type pieces of content that are more geared toward TikTok, and so I might experiment a little bit more with that to get the best of both worlds. But regardless, as exciting as it might be, I'm going to try not to worry about those views quite as much, and a little bit more about if I feel satisfied with the content that I'm putting out. It's also been more than a year since I put my novel out, Lionel Lancet and the Right Vibe, and I feel very distant from it now too. I don't think I'm quite ready to do a reread, because I want a little bit more time to pass so that I can be completely alienated from all of the creative choices that I made. But if you want to support me or support the channel at all, check out Lionel Lancet and the Right Vibe. It was definitely influenced by The Big Lebowski, Inherent Vice the film, because I haven't read the book. Under the Silver Lake, the slacker noir is the genre that Chris Wade coined, and I actually got to speak with him here on my channel. So check him out and that conversation that we do. Beyond that, this was just supposed to be a very quick, down and dirty update that you're going to be seeing my face a little bit more. I'm completely ragged and like very run down from this year, because it's kind of my first full year in New York. Even though I moved here in August of 2021, I didn't really get into the swing of things until about February of 2022, when I became more involved in the community at the school, started meeting all of these awesome people, had a complete course correction in my life, that I'm not going to be worried as much about this artistic dream that was very ego-driven. Even though I'm still going to do art, the recontextualization of all of that has been just invaluable. I cannot put words to how monumental of a shift it's been in my life to focus less on myself and get most of my satisfaction from contributing to this community. So beyond that, feel free to leave me a comment or anything like that. Tell me if there's anything you want from this channel in particular. I can't guarantee that I'm going to do it, but I will at least read it and respond to you. And so if you want to support the channel, feel free to buy Lionel Lancet and the Right Vibe. Listen to my EP for free here on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Music, or I did DistroKid, so like all of the platforms should have it. And check out my video essays, and check out my TikTok and Instagram. Daniel Backer, author on everything. Thank you so much. Goodbye.